Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of E&C Question Reflection, where you learn truth, knowledge, and understanding. Today we're going to be talking about the differences between ignorance and stupidity. Before we get started though, I do want to remind you, if you have not done so already, to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all so you don't miss any of the material that we drop, like lives and premieres. Also, make sure that you like, comment, and share this video with family and friends, anybody who you think would benefit from the video. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so that you can also get the material there. With that being said, y'all, let's talk. So we're going to talk about the difference between stupidity and ignorance. Yes, there's a difference. This is going to be a rather short video. Doesn't need to be long. It's pretty self-explanatory. Ignorance, and I probably should have done this in the beginning, but I could have should. So the definition of ignorance is a lack of intel. And I will give you the actual word for word definition to the word ignorance. Ignorance. I probably should have put ignorant because it's probably the like, okay. Ignorance is the lack of knowledge or information, intellect, intelligence, thing like that. Information. So it's a lack of knowledge or information. So understand this about the word ignorance. We are all born ignorant. Everyone. We're all born not knowing anything. We're all born without having any knowledge or intellect of anything. We just don't know, okay? We don't know anything. That's why we're taught. So let me show you what the definition of stupidity is. And then I'm going to tell you, maybe I'm just going to look, well, let me try stupid first because, okay. Alright, so stupid, because stupidity would be the act of being stupid, but okay. So stupidity is having or showing a great lack of intelligence or common sense. So stupidity isn't just a lack of knowledge, it's showing that you have no common sense. So let me give you some examples of what I mean. So we're all born ignorant. The best example that I came up with is, imagine that you're walking and there's a hole in the ground. You don't know what a hole is. You just pretty much see that there's this thing. You walk over it and you end up stepping in it and you trip. You now have gained the knowledge that the hole goes below the street or the sidewalk or wherever you're at, and you know that if you step in it, you could possibly trip, fall, hurt yourself. Stupidity would be the next day you come back, you see the same hole. Stupidity would be walking right into it again, tripping and falling and hurting yourself. Wisdom would be, now you know what the hole is, now you know what it can do, you avoid hurting yourself by walking around the hole. That's the difference. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant. One time, right before we bought a house, I was talking to not an insurance lady, a real estate agent. And I really didn't want to get involved with real estate agents, but I knew that it's a possibility that it might be a good idea to do so. So I called one, and I was like, look, you're going to have to help us because we're first-time home buyers. We've never owned a home before, and we're really ignorant to, pretty much the whole process. She's like, oh, girl, you're not ignorant. I stop when someone tries to correct me like that because I know that she's been misinformed about what it is to be ignorant. So I try not to correct people, but in her case I did. And I said, yeah, I am. I'm actually real ignorant in the situation. I said, I don't know anything about buying a house. Me and my husband, we don't really know anything about the process. I mean, we're really, we've never bought a home before. We've always rented. So I don't know anything about it. And so I haven't gained any knowledge about buying a home. So, so she was like, oh, well, if you put it like that, ignorance is a lack of intel. It's a lack of knowing. It's a lack of knowledge. So, I don't know anything about this. Oh, then she let it go. So, being ignorant is not a bad thing. Anytime you don't know anything, it's a good idea to take in knowledge. You don't want to be one of those people that I'm a know-it-all, because it really sucks when people call you a know-it-all. But when you take in a lot of knowledge and you do know a lot of things, it's sad, but sometimes you have to not share too much information, because then people think that you know everything, even if you're right about it. But taking in accurate knowledge, true knowledge, it will build your intellect. It'll build the knowledge base that you have. Now, it does not mean that you're going to be the wisest person in the world, because I'll tell anybody in a heartbeat, you can be smart and stupid in the same sentence. Just because you know something doesn't mean squat. You have to use the information, and wisdom, the definition of wisdom is the application of knowledge. So let me look that up, just because I don't want anybody to think that I'm taking this stuff straight out of my brain. All right. Oh, I hit the wrong button. That's sad. I completely forgot how to. Okay. All right. By definition, wisdom as a noun is the quality of having experience, knowledge, good judgment, the quality of being wise, which I don't like the word when you're using the word in a sentence. The soundness of an action or decision with regard to the application. The soundness of an action or decision with regard to the application of experience, knowledge, and good judgment. And the body of knowledge principles that develops within a specified society or period. But those are your definitions to wisdom. So there it says, the soundness of an action or decision with regard to the application of experience or knowledge, or the application of knowledge is the definition. So it's how you apply the knowledge that you have. So stupidity would be knowing something and not using common sense with it, not whatsoever. You can read all of the books in the world. You can know everything there is to know in the world. Everything. And you can still do stupid stuff. Because just because you know something does not mean you're going to use it. Wisdom is using it. They say, when you get gray hair, it means you're wise. Look, that's only because by the time you get gray hair, you've experienced things. You've went through a lot of things. You know a lot of things. You know how to deal with a lot of situations. So you tend to get gray hair. But I've met some really stupid people with gray hair. I really have. They have gray hair, full head of gray hair, and they do some stupid stuff. So ignorance, it's nothing wrong with being ignorant. When you legit don't know something, I didn't know that this was this or that was that. I didn't know that if I put a fire to my hair that it would singe it would smell. Well, now you know. You're ignorant to that specific knowledge. And there's nothing wrong with it, because like I said, you're born ignorant. So there's going to be things you know nothing about that you're completely ignorant to, because you haven't been taught it yet. You haven't went through that experience yet. So you're not going to know about it. Nobody's expecting you to know everything about anything. When it comes to the part of once you know the information and you choose not to use it, you're doing stupid things. That's why in the Bible, when it talks about if you put yourselves among stupid people, or wise people, you'll become wise. Because you are going to know things. When around wise people, you learn new things. You take in a lot of knowledge. I loved listening to Dick Gregory. He passed, of course, so he's, but listening to the stuff he said, the knowledge that he kicked out, I loved listening to it. And when you put yourself among wise people, or people who are not just knowing things but are actually acting those things or leading by example, you will find yourself learning how to take that knowledge and use it. But when you put yourself among stupid people, people who know things and don't seem to care, who will do things and just do dumb, stupid stuff, you're going to find yourself doing the same things that they're doing, and you're going to find yourself doing really stupid things. There's a huge difference from being ignorant and being stupid and being wise. There's a definite difference, a definition difference. There's a very obvious difference. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with being ignorant, but when you learn something, use it. When you use it, you'll become wise. Like I said, you can be smart all you want to, you can know everything in the world, but it doesn't make you a wise person. Just because you read a book and you learn something new today, it does not make you wise. What makes you wise is taking that information and using it for good, to make good judgment calls, using discernment. Using discernment is a form of being wise, because you're taking what you know and you're using it to make a good judgment call. So those are what you want to be, is you want to be wise. Smart, who cares? Who cares? Who cares that you're smart enough to do some big old long math problem? That math problem ain't going to save your life. Wisdom is going to save your life. That math problem might get you known, may get you famous, it might get you money, but it's not gonna save your life. It's not gonna you can't apply a math problem. You can't really take it. Application is in forms of principles, of fundamental truths. So you have to take that knowledge and you have to be able to use it in life so that you can make good judgment calls. So being smart all you want to, being able to read every book in the world is not gonna do you any justice, because being smart it doesn't help you be wise. Well, it does in a form when you take in the knowledge, but it doesn't stop there. You take in the knowledge from those books, but you have to apply it in order to become wise. You have to experience it in order to become wise. You can't not just read it and then just be like, oh, I'm another year wiser. No, you're not. No, you're not. It doesn't make you. I mean, you might be, but it doesn't mean just because you did that made you wise. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I put that out there so that people could understand the difference. I hear a lot of people say, I ain't ignorant. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant. So if you are, you are. What I would hate to say is you're stupid. I had a student, I taught this in class, and I had a student that said he went home and he told his dad what the difference between stupid and ignorant was. You know what his dad told him? He told him I was stupid. And you know what my student did? And I was proud of him for doing this to an extent. He stood up for it because what I taught him was a fact. I was super proud of him for that. He said, I didn't disrespect my dad, but I did teach him the difference between ignorance and stupid, and that after he didn't call me stupid anymore, but in the beginning he did. He was like, well, your teacher's stupid. If she thinks there's a difference between ignorance and stupid, she's stupid. And so he was like, no, well, look, there's a definite difference, and he was able to teach it. So it made me feel good, because any teacher that teaches well, students will be able to teach that same information back. So that made me feel pretty good about teaching this subject. So with that being said, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and remind you again, if you have not done so already, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you do not miss any of the material that we put out, like lives and premieres. Also, make sure that you like, comment, and share this video, as well as check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All right? So with that being said, y'all, we are going to catch y'all on the flip side.